welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
Flames Nation.
And good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks to those who are watching on YouTube. Thanks to those listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and thanks to those listening on the podcast in the future. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Jasmine Sidhu, and Wil Fraser with you here on the Hangout. Jasmine and I should go get the glasses. We said we were going to wear them.
I didn't want to be. I thought Maddie took them off, so I didn't want to be.
Well, because I need to see still.
Those are reflective.
Very reflective. It's hard to see that monitor right there for me.
I want to shoot a music video right now.
The brewery, that was just beer of the week.
And those are very 88 inspired sunglasses.
They've dropped off. He only thought there was Dusty and Eric. He only dropped off 2 pairs. Jasmine immediately claimed them. They are sharp shades.
Yeah.
Boomer, good to see you. That's nice.
I'm not wearing any eyewear.
This is Boomer. Look at that. She looks great in them.
Thank you. I didn't even see them.
Yeah,
I look
and
great
it matches
in
your outfit today.
OOTD. You're just jealous because you can't
Obviously,
have them.
clearly.
These are sick.
You got nice glasses though today.
And they're black,
Please,
right?
just so I can see.
See, they've got a nice reflection on them.
Yeah.
I really like these.
I do too.
So I'm going to wear them for
I'm looking forward to
Not
trying
long.
the beer.
Not long.
I expect to see you wearing those 10 years from now, and they will be mint.
No, not a chance. Not these ones.
You're the only guy I know that could probably keep those in one piece for a decade.
If I tried to, I
Yeah,
could, but
yeah.
I'm not going to try to.
Oh, okay.
These
All
are
right.
the type of, like these, the promotional glasses you get, those, you don't try to keep those ones nice.
Oh, okay.
You keep your prescription ones nice.
All right.
But for some reason, you lose the prescription ones, and these ones always
Yeah.
remain last man standing.
I finally bought polarized lenses. Amazing.
It is, yeah.
Amazing. Phenomenal.
Your fishing has gone through the roof, eh? Like
Yeah.
you're just spotting trout left, right, and center now.
Yeah, I love fishing. I'm an
You're just
outdoorsman, clearly.
Listen, you're always talking my ear off about
Yeah.
your latest fishing exploits.
Well,
so.
in all honesty, we're getting ready for season 5 of Bozone Live on
There you
Wild
go.
TV.
I know.
And
Yeah.
they're like, okay, this year we're getting you into a tree stand. I was
Yeah.
like, I've never shot a bow, and I've never touched a bow in my life. And I said, sure, whatever you want, because they want to film it and mock me. Just like everybody has been with this attempted murder. First of all, thank you, Twitter Mary, for the delicious baked treats. She brought in a plethora of them, which I'm sure Zach consumed most of. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I thought they were ginger snaps and not peanut butter cookies. And
Did
I
they
said,
not smell like peanut?
Well, they come in boxes. Twitter Mary puts them in boxes. It's very well done.
They're very packaged. I want to know if she's a professional baker. By the way.
It's
ginger
so
snaps
good.
give off a distinctive
They do.
smell, and so
They
do
usually
peanut
also have,
butter
like a little
cookies.
sugar on them. The ginger snap.
But
Not
Maddie,
always.
I
They
didn't
did look
stare
like
at them. And so Reed's and Jay are in the office in the boardroom, and I'm like, Reed, do you want a cookie? And he goes,
Do
no,
we
I'm
have any
good.
more left?
He's like, no, I'm good.
Well, I think we need to look at
And
the
he goes,
cookies.
what are they? And I'm like,
Hold
I think
on a
they're
second.
ginger snaps or sugar
Wait,
cookies.
don't bring them in here.
Sugar cookies obviously are a different color.
allergic.
Okay, no, I just want to go look.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh no, I open it and smell it. I'm like, no, dude, they're peanut butter. Sorry. Now all of a sudden I'm getting blamed for Chipgate. Mm-hmm. I'm getting blamed for the attempted murder of Reed Wilkins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For offering him out of the kindness of my heart, and thankfully Twitter Mary's nice enough to make them for us, a cookie.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was peanut butter.
I actually,
looks like ginger snaps.
I actually
Thank
think the crime would have been a conspiracy to commit.
There's no,
actually.
it was from the,
Like for it to be attempted, he would have had to have taken
and I would
a
have
bite.
to like force it to.
Yeah, he would have had to
this.
taken a bite and then survive.
Or like throw it at his mouth as he's talking.
So it's a lesser charge. First of
perfect.
all, like don't worry that much. Like I mean,
boy.
we should still take your passport. You are a flight risk, but
This is BS.
whatever, man.
Good morning, Will. Welcome back.
Is that your defense? Because I don't know if that's going to hold up. This is BS.
Yeah, that's my defense.
I will say, I went to go look at them. They do look like you could, if you just look at them, they do look like.
You're wearing
Thank you, Matthew.
sunglasses.
I took them off with. I took them off. Trust me. If you want to go take a look, go take a look.
No, I
Bring 'em.
couldn't care less.
Zach gave me some, and I had the same thing as Reed, except I smelt them just before I took a bite.
As most
Oh,
people
so
do
hold
with
on,
their
Zach
food.
tried to kill you too.
There we go.
I don't want to steal,
So we
Tommy
have
Thunder
we had a
here.
second attempted murder
Yeah.
here.
But Zach is also a killer.
So Zach and
Lyrically
Tommy.
and
Oh, stop it. Can we just focus on Zach to come? Thank you
No,
very
it's
much.
both of you. It'd have to be on both of you.
trying to kill the new
But,
peeps.
Now, can you have it around you, peanut butter?
I can. It depends. Like if it's really strong, I can smell it. It makes me gag a bit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like I'm not a big wiener like some people.
Stop
It doesn't
it.
bringing it in here. It's not a full risk that you're gonna have issues.
No.
I'm not going to bring it in here. Just
No.
because some people, I think it's like it's.
I
they
feel
can't
bad.
even
Yeah,
be close.
I have no dietary allergies or whatever, and
Me neither.
I envy people
yeah, I
that
know.
taste it, though.
It's one of the things that I'm really thankful for, actually, because it's a stress, right? It's a low grade stress
It is.
for most of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we, in our millennial time, we didn't have all these signs and these packaging. Like, we had to watch out for ourselves
Yeah.
in elementary. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, although that's called survival of the fittest, right? Like,
Darwinism.
yeah.
My mom's got a decent one, sesame and like shellfish and stuff. And it's
I have shellfish.
But seafood is the big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
shellfish.
you go and sesame seed is the big one because it's
That's
like, does
tough.
this have any sesame in it or something?
Yeah.
And like you gotta go double check, and that's one where you learn. It's like
No Big Macs.
No, well, like
Whoa.
Sesame
you have to
seed
have
bun.
regular bun
Yep.
and stuff.
I have a
those
friend
are
who's
tough.
it's tree nuts. So like even stone fruit, anything will like cause him to go into
Yikes.
anaphylaxis. And I'm like, man, no peaches, no nectarines. Like he's like none.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, no pecan, no. Yeah.
I love a good pecan.
Right?
Pecan pie.
Doesn't that sound sad? That sounds sad.
Okay, but doesn't everybody tells me, oh, you're missing out on peanut butter and peanuts?
I think you're missing out on peanuts.
Yeah.
You're missing out on
That's
cheap,
very-
peanut
on
M&Ms are
really cheap
phenomenal.
protein is what
Yeah.
you're missing out on.
Yeah.
It's delicious. Like I would struggle with peanuts, but I think I would struggle more with peach.
Yeah, well, I have apple.
couldn't have a
I have apple and peanut butter every day, so yeah, that would directly affect my diet. Yeah,
Show offs.
yeah.
Reminder, coming up in the second hour of the EST Hangout, we'll have the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA brought to you by The 780. We want to send you to LA to go see NBA, NHL, NFL, flight, hotel, rental car. December 26th to December 30th is the trip. Qualified people until November 28th, giving that away on November 29th. So stay tuned for the keyword for the EST Flyaway.
You'll miss out on Shohei, unfortunately.
Miss out on Shohei, but get to see the new Intuit Dome.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
going to be awesome. A text comes in via the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. It says, question for Wil Fraser. What is your favorite Chicago delicacy and why is it Malort?
Oh, Malort is just.
With an umlaut over the O.
It's interesting. So, like, my family history, obviously, with the last name Fraser, is Scottish.
Yeah.
And then on my mom's side, it's all from Chicago and stuff like that. And Malort is comparable to haggis in that I swear it was invented as a practical joke for people from out of town.
What is it?
Like Malort?
Yeah.
It's a liquor. It's
okay.
it's a terrible, like gag-inducing liquor.
Blech.
Yeah, it is just. It's one of those ones that you hope someone drops it into a beer to at least water it down. Like that's the
Is it
only
like
way.
moonshine?
No, it's like a bad Jaeger. Like, which is saying something, right? Like 'cause most of us are like, oh, Jaeger, but Malort's
What does
worse.
Malort liquor taste like? Burnt tires with a strong flavor
Yeah.
of bug spray
Yeah.
with DEET.
Yeah, it's
Yummy.
it's just awful, right? Like, and like I said, like the only reason this should exist is because we've been tricking people for 100 years into drinking it by saying, "Oh, well, welcome to Chicago. This is what all of us drink."
From ChicagoDrinksGuide.com, how to consume Malort. Well, typically shots. You don't want to taste the liquor at all. But it's been increasingly used in cocktails
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you don't want to taste it at all. Get it down as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That's an outstanding answer, the texter replies with. I do not want to even dabble in
And delicacy, I mean,
around here?
it's a depression dog, a depression dog from Chicago. Most people would tell you the like the Chicago dog, which is a drag it through the garden where there's everything on it, like a pickle on top of it, and that is delicious. That's a sesame seed bun.
Yeah.
But the depression dog is actually, you'd get that at Gene and Jude's, and that is a Vienna Frank hot dog, everything on it, but not like a drag it through the garden, just like relish and
nicely placed.
And then they wrap it in freshly made fries.
What?
Yeah. So you literally have to like eat your way to the hot dog that's been encased in.
Respect this.
Yeah,
very
it's unbelievable.
There's something to be said about hot dogs or glizzies in Chicago.
Yeah.
A phenomenal city. Honestly, it really is fantastic, and it gets overlooked because if we're people from the West traveling out east, you're over.
Yeah,
you're not
it's
even
funny. Everyone thinks
Chicago.
I want to go to New York, and it's like I've been to both.
Yeah.
Chicago is superior, and
I love
you
Chicago.
will not lose as much money as you do in New York. New York is so expensive,
And the people are really nice. They're cool, just as trendy.
Yeah. Although I've gotten into a shouting match in the subway in Chicago,
Well,
so
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Of course.
What was it about?
Your headlights.
Do you remember what it was about?
There's just a guy running a racket with tourists who, like, he buys. So he's a guy who goes in and buys a full day, like an all day pass for the transit system, and then like just scans people through and then gets you to give him a couple of bucks once you get through. And I was like, no, man, like I'm buying my own. Like, how do you think you afford a transit system? People have to pay for it, sort of thing. So.
See, I love the New York system
Yeah.
because they just get through any way they can. And somebody will leave and there'll be like a gate you got to get through. And as soon as it opens, like 30 people just keep open and walk in, skipping the fare thing.
Yeah.
It's fun watching videos of just New Yorkers. And I know you're talking Chicago, but New Yorkers just finding ways to game their system and just skip paying the fares.
The thing is like $2.50. It's $2.50 in New York.
Yeah.
Vancouver does it too. With SkyTrain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, in Vancouver, like you pick up that SkyTrain downtown, like off of False Creek, and you're waiting 3 trains. Like if you're not a local, if you don't know how to like put your shoulder into people, like you are waiting for 3 trains before you can get on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the first time I did Vancouver, I was like standing there with like a 2-year-old in a baby Bjorn with my wife, and it was just like like the doors opened, humanity came out of it, humanity rushed in at the same time, and then the doors closed, and my wife and I are standing there with our 2-year-old going, I don't know what just happened, but like, but we're not taking that train.
Legit.
Matt Hyman, Iwanyk, who officially won the staff meeting? Well, it depends whose rankings you want to go with.
That was a spicy one yesterday. It was a lot of fun, actually.
Dusty starts ranking people. Well, he gave it to Trev. But Dusty's ranking system is very flawed.
It is.
And he didn't like it, but he's like our commissioner in our fantasy football league. He hands them out he's not happy with that. He hands them out.
That's a low blow.
Willy-nilly. It's not. He hands them out willy-nilly. He doesn't have any rhyme or reason. There's no rationale behind it. He just has to chuckle and laugh, and you get points. And he then takes away from one person, but somebody else does the same thing. He doesn't take away from them. So he's just like
tracking a vibe, man.
He's not.
He's tracking a vibe, and there's no point system to vibes. It's a feel.
That's what
our ranking system is fine.
You're just like Kicks. You're just like Kicks.
It's ridiculous. That's what the whole ranking system is. You do something funny, you get a point. You say something ridiculous, make a mistake, you minus a point. That's what the ranking system is.
And then one person does one thing, they lose a point. Somebody else does the same thing, you just leave it. You don't do anything. You're Kicksy.
This is a bad vibe.
Kicksy.
That's what this is.
You're Kicksy.
It's unbelievable. There's one point system.
I called it a low blow.
That's how the meetings were. I heard what you said.
I called it a low blow.
No, you were talking. I heard you talking shit about it over there.
Wow.
You said it was a questionable. Like, come on.
I said it was spicy.
I'm part of the leadership team, and the coup had his own ranking system.
When he committed or called it.
Was there a baby at this?
There is no baby there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no baby there.
That would be
I think it's a good
my
ranking
favorite
system.
staff meeting
You've
ever.
won meetings in the past. How can you complain about the
They were
ranking
rigged
system?
though then too.
They were rigged then too.
Yeah, that's all.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know what? No more meetings.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome.
I actually don't mind the meetings. They're kind of good.
My favorite meeting involved someone bringing a baby and Eric just spending the entire meeting going, "There's a baby here."
Eric
and looking around going, "Who brings a baby to a staff meeting?"
Do you remember, Eric, when we'd have like the big Bell staff meetings or like all radio or TV and radio, and he'd just sit in the corner like this?
Yeah.
And you're like, I wish I could do that.
And
right
I'd
now.
get in trouble because I would I'd last 25 minutes, and then after 25 minutes, I would just start getting sour.
But it was all great stuff.
Somebody brought a baby to a trade deadline show.
Yeah, somebody brought a baby.
To the trade deadline show. To do their trade deadline show. Yeah. That I remember Guy Flaming walking in because he was joining all of a sudden. Oh, a baby! Yep.
A little bundle of joy.
Hey, it's the new age. You got to bring your kids to work, right?
I guess so.
Your daddy, you can
Not
do it.
in the studio. Not in the studio. Because luckily the kid didn't wake up and start crying.
Okay.
Was it Dusty?
No, I'm not going with this one.
All right.
That one I will just leave.
Okay.
Let's get to Hangout headlines. Brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time by visiting theranchgolf.com. Baseball. Are you going to get into the playoffs?
Well, the Braves got swept. That kind of... I always
That's
kind of
tough.
pull for Anthopoulos' team just because I can't believe that the Jays let him go. But they got swept, so obviously you'll tune in once you get into your championship series.
NLCS.
Yeah, but
Things open
the
up
DS.
Well, things really open up for the Yankees nicely. As a Yankee fan, Joe Yankee fan yesterday, he even pointed out, you're worried about the Astros or the Orioles.
Well, man, that was,
Yeah.
and what a wild game against Detroit. I
didn't see that.
It was an absolute roller coaster. So I don't know. Maybe Detroit's got something, team of destiny sort of thing going on.
Yankees Royals, that's what it'll for them. And I've learned that Scott Laurie, Redbeard, is a Royals fan. His Raiders beat my Ravens. Now our Royals and Yankees go up against each other, and then in January he's a Rangers fan, I'm a Manchester United fan, and they meet. So we've got a little
rivalry,
triple header going against each other.
With the Royals, though, it's funny. They're either so bad, or when they're good, they're like, "Oh, this team, look out! They're gonna make some noise."
They are the perfectly run small market team in that they have no loyalty to their players. And so they will, as soon as the magic is gone, they will dice that team up.
Gotcha.
And start over fresh because they know they can't keep pace with the salaries. They can't keep fan favorites around. So you are a Royals fan. You are never a fan of the players.
So they're a more robust Tampa.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. A Tampa team that has a real killer instinct to it.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it worked out for them.
And they also play in the right division.
Yeah.
Right? You put Tampa in any other division, they've made it to a couple World Series, but to get through the AL East is tough.
Redbeard saying you should be worried about the Royals, man. He's in the nasty chat. No, I'm good, Redbeard. I'm good.
Bring it on.
I'm feeling pretty good about the Yankees.
What are your guys' thoughts on Jackson Chourio? He's on Milwaukee. He's supposed to be an unreal MLB player. Wow.
No, I haven't. I've honestly, this whole season has just been Shohei.
And that also underscores our lack of knowledge about the Milwaukee Brewers.
Honestly,
I honestly don't care about the Milwaukee Brewers much.
As a Cubs fan, it's been a lot of turning away this year, and then just honestly tuning into games worth of Shohei.
Yes.
I'll go 3 hours ago from Sports Illustrated. Milwaukee Brewers star stands alongside Babe Ruth in incredible history. What did he do? I'm intrigued.
Unreal.
The eighth inning. Oh, stupid ads. What was his historic outing? In the eighth inning was headlined by a game-timing home run and a go. Okay, so what is that? Where's the thing? He's the second player in MLB history to hit 2 game-tying home runs in the same game.
No.
Damn.
So that's what he did yesterday, Jackson Chourio. Babe Ruth did it Game 4 of the 1928 World Series. Haven't really been paying attention to those Milwaukee Brewers.
And yesterday was the anniversary of the last game Babe Ruth ever pitched. It was in 1933. There was a video of it. I saw that pop up on my feed. I was like, interesting.
I'm amazed we
tonight,
still
5 o'clock.
I'm amazed we still care about Babe Ruth. I'll be honest.
Why?
It's just it was so long ago. It was a segregated
Yes.
I understand why let's say less than racially harmonious baseball fans loved Babe Ruth as much as they did. Mm-hmm. He was their great white bambino. But man, once baseball desegregated and you actually had all the talent at your disposal,
Numbers drop?
No, his numbers
he retired in, like,
he never
1940.
played in it, right? Like, so
Yeah.
to me, it just exposed, like, I get he put up numbers, but
Yeah.
there is a little bit of illegitimacy to it, isn't there? Like,
that's
and
fair.
I guess
who's the greatest player in baseball?
I guess I would have thought, in my
Debatable.
opinion, it was Mickey Mantle, but I think that's with what Shohei is doing. I think that is up to debate, man.
Right, but Shohei, the comparison that Shohei gets is Babe Ruth, right?
Because he pitches.
Yes.
I mean, that's why, is because they.
Fair, okay.
I mean, Babe Ruth never had 50 steals in a year while hitting 50 home runs. Like, Babe Ruth is a shadow of what Shohei is as an athlete. Like, which is part of why I'm always just kind of like, I understand why our grandparents hung on to him. I don't know why we are hanging on to him and not just saying, he gets the records that he has, but those are illegitimate records.
It's interesting because MLB now, and I think pretty sure Canton, like the Hall of Fame, they started to recognize the Negro Leagues records, and I don't know if they've elevated to like MLB status because
they've added them.
They have added them, which I think
it was
is
just
good.
this offseason.
But you're right, Will. Like before that, before Jackie Robinson, like it was just like completely disregarded. So
like,
I think that's valid because
Satchel Paige is throwing heat in the Negro Leagues.
Yeah.
And Babe Ruth is hitting his dingers, but they never went head to head, right?
Great point.
Yeah.
That is
They're still going up against great players. Like we look at those like the Negro League stats and we go, there were some great players there.
Absolutely.
They weren't going up against the other people too. So like I don't want to take away from Babe Ruth just because he didn't go up against everyone.
Right, but no one is still mentioning their names the way that we still have this reverence for Babe Ruth.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's I'm not here to crap on you if you love Babe Ruth and the Bambino and all of that. I'm just saying it needs to fade. Like it's 100 years ago. It's time for us to actually appreciate what happened post Babe Ruth and understand that it was more competitive than what Babe Ruth played in.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Good job. See? Look what you got going.
All right.
Well done.
I can't speak about Babe Ruth. I'm sorry.
Well,
You don't have to. You didn't see him play.
yeah.
I didn't see him play. Like, that's part of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Salt in the swat.
yeah, exactly.
Great Bambino.
I mean, he's a Yankees fan, so like
we're making his.
Yeah, we're breaking his.
We're killing his soul right
Mickey
now.
Mantle.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So I don't care.
Yeah.
Sure, who's the greatest player of all time? Mickey
Old
Mantle.
number
Okay,
7,
fine,
man.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, 7. Like you want to go with Mickey Mantle? Sure. Mickey Mantle's the greatest player in baseball history. I'm fine with that.
Well, Mickey Mantle did what he did at 165 pounds. That's what's wild about Mickey
And
Mantle.
with a blood alcohol level.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Through the
Never sober.
No.
Like from the age of 14 on, I think he just kept drinking.
That's why baseball is great. Because of those stories. Like it's having those stories. It's
Baseball
David
and
Wells hung
baseball
over
and
with
curling
him.
are kind
John
of
Ellis on LSD.
Yeah.
Like it's having those stories. You go, and then we all just sit there like, that is cool.
Yeah.
They don't get that in any other league. Like we don't hear
Phenomenal.
about Gretzky scoring 50 and 39 and that night
Yeah.
he was plastered going into the game.
Well, yeah,
Like,
all the pitchers through the 70s that were on Quaaludes the entire
Oh
time.
my god.
Like,
Yeah. Wasn't there ball players in the 80s that like got busted for having like vials of cocaine in their pockets?
yeah, Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah.
The Straw, who was a fantastic baseball
For a
player,
long
but
time.
I think some of it was cocaine aided at certain times. That
Okay.
ball goes a lot slower after you do a bump.
Don't do drugs, kids. Just opened up a can of worms.
Yeah.
It's time for the Yankees to win. That's all I have to just say.
They are overdue, pal.
Thank you.
It's been a long time.
Everyone just is like, you're just a bitter Yankee fan. But for Yankees,
Yeah.
it's a long time.
It's a long- well,
since 09.
It's kind of like being a Montreal Canadiens fan these days, man. Like you are the perennial superpower who has not been a superpower for a long time.
You know what? I feel for the Mets, so I hope the Mets win.
Somebody
I'm
should.
with you.
You know, because
Somebody should.
the other side, they're real fans. I think it's with Shinsky when he was on
Yep.
yesterday. He was
Yep.
talking about like the Mets fans and how Yankees fans kind of come and go, and Yankees are this fancy doodle team. They get the Mets fans; they're quiet fans, but they're real fans and they stay by their team.
It's the same as White Sox and Cubs. That's the thing that's...
Yeah, but
I will say this about
We're talking about the Mets and New York. We're talking about New York.
No, I know, but like Chicago has two teams, and that's it's a similar thing where it's the Yankees and the Cubs are the more popular team, and the real fans of the cities go to the other teams.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similarity.
Hard to like the
Yankees,
White Sox
I will
right
say this
now.
about the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's those diehards that stick with them.
True.
If you want the diehard Yankees, they're in the bleachers. There are the Yankees have diehards. They're in the bleachers though. It's in the main seats. They're like the Leafs. It's a status to go to a Yankee game and stuff.
Of course.
That's the thing.
Well, whatever. Anyways, I hope the Mets.
Seinfeld is a Mets fan. There you go. Yeah.
Kornheiser's a Mets fan. Yeah. That was the team of his youth, he always says. But no, yeah, like that's where it's those two cities. It's kind of the same argument that always happens is that Yankees and Cubs are more of the status, and the other two teams.
Nice game, pretty boy.
They have but they don't win either. Well, Cubs don't. Mets don't. Not like the Yankees. Wyshynski said it yesterday too. Like they'll never catch the Yankees for the history.
You can't get too close to the Mets players. They'll ask you to help them move.
Yes. You're just going to keep as many Seinfeld references here as you can, aren't you?
It's really the only thing I care about the Mets for.
So good. As long as they don't take Juan Soto from the Yankees, which they will, that's the only thing that matters.
Mets games are fun, actually. Citi Field, I liked it.
Well, the Mets won't take Juan Soto until the Jays pace him to the highest salary that he can get.
Get him on a private plane.
Yeah. At some point, the Jays have to figure out that these guys are just using them, right?
I would think so.
I would hope so, but they haven't yet.
Well, and they're going to keep Ross Atkins as their general manager for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a weird one.
Like
you would think Mark Shapiro at some point would be like, "Hey, like I know I'm tight with this guy,"
but it sounds like the clubhouse hates him. Like
you got to make a move at some point to try to turn this around. Like I don't know how John Schneider comes back. Yep. He can't.
Well, you explained to me why the Jays have made the decisions they've made in the last 8 years. Like, it doesn't make any sense what the Jays have done. Like,
well, and last year they thought that they went in on Ohtani.
Yeah,
they were going to get Ohtani.
Yeah,
they spent all their time looking after Ohtani. When they were going after Ohtani, Yankees go get Juan Soto.
Yeah,
a couple of other moves happen with other teams, and then all of a sudden Robert Herjavec comes off the plane.
Yeah,
and the Jays have nothing.
Yeah, right. Like,
but then you look back and go, they were fully used in this whole process.
Yeah, it seems like a real sort of a Toronto disease. That you get caught watching, like pining for the unachievable while being ignorant to what you already have. Like
Toronto or Canada?
No, Toronto. like Zach Hyman is the perfect example of this, right? Like there's a guy that would have signed for the rest of his life to play with the Maple Leafs.
Yep.
And they were like,
we're good.
He's just a grinder. We don't need him. And so, the Oilers have laughed all the way to Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final with him basically propelling them to those types of heights. And the same thing happened with the Jays, where they were sitting there going, you know what we need? We need a real visionary general manager and president to take this team to the next level. While Alex Anthopoulos, all he was doing exactly that.
Hello.
They bid goodbye to him, and the Braves laugh all the way to the bank. And a World Series.
Too?
What?
Wasn't he with the Cubs when they won too?
No, he went to the Dodgers.
That's right. Sorry.
Well, with that too, like you look at the Braves and how if you go back to back seasons, these last two seasons, how they made the playoffs.
Yeah,
they didn't win.
Nope.
But you look at the injuries that they had.
That's right.
Like go look at how many games that the Braves played this year with their opening day starting lineup.
Yeah,
I think it was one. Opening day.
The ability to find gems, like that's all Anthopoulos does.
And like losing Acuna Jr. How many? Yeah. Quite a bit of time over the last couple of seasons, and yet they keep doing it. I will give credit to Mark Shapiro because one of his jobs though was also worrying about the business, and like apparently the renovations with Rogers Center are great, and those type of things. He's involved with that. Those are doing really well, but it doesn't matter if the fans don't show up.
Infrastructure feels like something you could hire an infrastructure person for.
100%.
Right? Like
but Rogers,
you don't hire a baseball guy who happens to be good at it. Right? Like
But that's what Rogers did.
It's like getting a doctor who's really good at emptying the dishwasher, and that's what you appreciate about him. Like that the staff room is immaculate. And you're kind of like, yeah, but is he good at being a doctor? Like that's the problem with Atkins is that they've looked at this situation focusing on non-baseball issues when these are supposed to be baseball people.
But that's why he's Ross Atkins, because he's supposed to do those baseball stuff.
Yeah.
Shapiro's supposed to be the non-baseball stuff.
No,
get Rogers Center done up, this and that. Get the right guy in place. That's the baseball guy.
Yeah.
Not working.
No!
That's why I can't believe that you're just not moving on from Ross Atkins here. Like, again, they're very tied together. Came together from Cleveland, but you'd think at some point that, like, he's got to, like, if you're Rogers, you're like, make a decision.
Yeah.
Like, he's gone or we're going to have to move on from all of you type thing.
Well,
and it's the fact that he could go like, no, he's coming back. And Rogers is like, we're cool with that.
Yeah.
While your fan base is like, we're not.
Yeah, you see that in any sort of tiered organization, that if the guy above you has stuck their neck out to bring you in, they will live and die with you, right? Before they move
So
on.
why aren't you moving on from Mark Shapiro if you're Rogers?
Well,
and if you're a Toronto sports fan,
they don't have a killer instinct.
Well, if you're a Toronto sports fan, you're terrified of what's happening in your market because they just bought out Bell for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And if you look at how they just handle the team as just themselves, it's the Blue Jays. So it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen with the Raptors, with the Leafs, with TFC, and with the Argos? With just Rogers owning it.
Yeah.
Larry Tannenbaum was the owner, basically, of all of those franchises but the Jays for the longest time, because he was like in between of Bell and Rogers. He could play both sides. And now Rogers owns it all, and Larry Tannenbaum has no power in it.
Yeah. I wonder what Bell's play in all of this is.
Paying off debt.
Is it just debt?
Apparently it's debt.
Payment?
There's apparently a lot of debt, and they're paying that off.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what the end game is there. I guess I probably don't care if they fall flat on their face.
Who? Which one?
Rogers and whatever's going on there, but it feels like it's high stakes, right? Like it feels like this could be really, it could break perfectly for them, or they could find themselves in an absolute quagmire. Like all it takes is one of those leagues to step in and go, guys, you're taking your eye off the ball. You're worrying about these 5 other things when you need to worry about, like, if Major League Baseball comes in and says, this doesn't work, and all of a sudden they have to fire sell that franchise. Like,
the thing is, sports is going that way, though.
Yeah.
Where entities are owning
but not in the same city. Like, that's usually where the leagues kind of, they don't mind if you own another professional franchise as long as it's not in the same city. The NFL, they want you to compete against the other sports products in your city. They don't want you to be like making way for or bundling or all of that. They want you to compete head to head.
Actually, like if I'm not mistaken, the NFL for the longest time, they if you own multiple teams, they all had to be in the same city. They didn't want you in other markets, and that's why like the Kroenke families, they've done ways to get around it.
Yeah.
So that, because they have Avs, Nuggets in Denver, then they had the Rams.
Yeah.
And it was the Rams part, they had to shift
there's like
ownership
8
to like,
kids, isn't there?
I think the Suns owned the Denver teams, and then Stan owned the other and stuff, and that was how they get around it. But the NFL for the longest time had, if you own an NFL team and you want to own other teams, they have to all be in the same city.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you bringing
the other owners didn't want to compete head to head.
They don't want you having an NBA team in a city with an NFL and you're competing with an NFL owner.
Yeah.
Whereas it doesn't matter, the NFL will just roll over you.
So it's like, I know it's a little bit different, but you know, like the Vegas Knights, so all the owners got a profit out of that, correct?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the sale of it, the expansion franchise fee, which is why it's continued to go up, right? Like, because they keep finding people willing to shell out that kind of money. So
I know it's been hilarious. Like the Board of Governors meetings just happened. They're like, no, expansion was not on the topic of the agenda. And then all we keep hearing is, the NHL is going to expand to 36 right away. You're going to get Houston, and Arizona might get a team again.
Atlanta's the big one.
Atlanta, right? And then now New Orleans is getting into the mix. So
what?
Yeah, but the league is no expansion talk. Not at this Board of Governors meeting.
It's happening.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it is.
I think they're waiting to see what Salt Lake is.
I think it's going to be a success. It's already better than
it is. Like I think that actually cools off Like, they've had such failure in some of their recent expansions that they don't want to just chase the guy who's willing to write the check.
I disagree with that.
They do want to chase the market where they're not going to have to worry about them.
I think they're money hungry. I think.
Well, yeah, of course they are, but they've also lost however many hundreds of millions of dollars in Arizona, right? Like that is.
But that's been recovered.
Well, yeah, but it hasn't been built on, right? Like that is that is a 20-year window where the league just had a big vacuum.
You give the owners too much credit.
Sucking profit out of it, right? Like that when all of a sudden you move just to Salt Lake, which is not a premier destination, but just to Salt Lake, and your profits are going to go through the window go through the roof this year.
Yeah.
And it will have them go, oh, well, like maybe we need to focus on hockey markets, that we need to not just look for what's the biggest television market. We need to look for what's the biggest market that will actually have this on their television.
That's sound reasoning.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. But, well, they're going to go right back to Arizona because it's the biggest TV market, and they're going to put the rink in Scottsdale.
They'll go to Houston and go to Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, Houston makes a lot of sense. Houston has had elite level hockey before and been successful.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and they are in a state where hockey is played at the amateur level.
Correct. The Stars have done a great job with that in Texas.
Right. Like, and not only that, but there's rich people who let their kids play hockey.
Correct.
Right? Like, I mean, you hear about those traveling teams out of Texas, how they basically just fly to Chicago every weekend and play local Chicago teams.
Correct.
Right? Like that is just how expensive minor hockey is. And so there is a thirst for it in Texas. I just think I think they will have a jaundiced eye towards Phoenix. I think they will start using Phoenix as their pacing horse. Like the same way that they have Quebec City every year, right?
Quebec City, Montreal, and MLB, they're always going to be the red herrings.
Yeah,
like pacing horses.
Yeah, like I think what they want is somebody to build an NHL quality arena in Phoenix, and then I think they want to use it for 10 years. That every other team that doesn't have a new arena deal, we'll just move to Phoenix.
I'm so sick of this Phoenix.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of hearing it.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gosh.
No, don't be.
So why do you think Atlanta can sustain a hockey market?
We don't.
Why did they think that Atlanta can?
The Thrashers. Why?
They're in the wrong city. They were in the wrong part of Atlanta.
Yeah,
just like
Atlanta
Phoenix.
it was a bad setup, and it was a cheap owner, right? Yeah. And so it was an owner
failed twice, though.
Yeah.
The NHL, they're just saying we could get another $1 billion. Let's get another $1 billion.
Correct.
We don't care.
Yeah.
We'll deal with the round.
But they chose Atlanta to do this.
They're going to.
They're going to.
It
also geographically, it just links the south, the southeast, right?
You
Like,
also have somebody
airport.
that's willing to say, I'm willing to give you $1 billion. Give me a team.
Okay.
That's the other part to everything.
Okay.
We need to have an owner that's willing.
Is that kind of like New Orleans now that you're saying that they're
New Orleans snuck in there, and
because
it's like,
the mayor said he threw out the idea of getting an NHL team.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Because when I went to New Orleans, I felt like nobody cared about the Pelicans. So I'm like, everybody loves the football team.
Right.
Everybody loves the Saints, but they could care less about the Pelicans, which was quite
LSU.
surprising.
I think they look at New Orleans and they see a Nashville and a Vegas situation where they go, do we need a local market, or is the tourism industry strong enough that we can sell 50% of our tickets to people who are just in town for the city? I think that's the only reason that sports exists in New Orleans is because of tourism. Like the town itself, New Orleans, is poor. Like
you leave
really poor. And so you're not worried about your local attendance, you're worried about the people getting on and off planes to come into your building.
Portions of this hour of the Hangout are brought to you by The High Product Marketing, official merch partner of EST. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. Wil Fraser, Iwanyk, Jasmine Sidhu, and Tom Gazzola with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Speaking of The Hive, they aren't just the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, they're also the official merch partner of Wil and the Wolf, who we debuted the Kavis Reed pump-up song that they recorded live on the morning show today. They're also taking part in Get Fest, the Gord Edgar Downey Festival that will be taking place October 19th at Midway Music Hall. Proceeds from that go to the Ben Stelter Foundation and the Alberta Cancer Foundation. Wil and the Wolf playing also Edmonton's premier tragically hip tribute band, Hypnotical. Tickets available, getfest.ca. Go check out our boys, Wil and the Wolf. Some news that is breaking from the National Hockey League that I need to get to from Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoff. Sources say a resolution has been reached on Robert Lehner situation with the Golden Knights. Lehner will not be on Vegas' salary cap this season. Believe Lehner will still be paid. Big win for the Golden Knights, who likely will not have to operate an LTIR to start the season.
There's so many ways we can go with this. Jasmine, please, if you want to.
No.
Okay. Robin Lehner is
Okay.
That is. I need more than a 10-foot pole to not touch that situation.
Well,
But the situation on its own, yeah, because there's also like with,
it's awful. All of it is awful.
There's Tiger. What is the Netflix series? Tiger
King?
Tiger King.
There's connection to that with
Yeah.
him.
Because he has exotic animals.
Yeah.
He collects exotic
Or
animals.
something.
Yeah.
Is that
I don't know.
He's
Yeah.
millions in debt. Owes millions to creditors.
It is mental
Filed
illness.
Mental illness.
Like it is like. It's one of those things that it's like, I don't think any of us are qualified to comment on Robin Lehner.
He was moving money to offshore accounts. And the creditors are coming after him. It's unbelievable.
But with
awful.
this, the Golden Knights, they don't have a salary cap on their
And
books
then now there's this, the Golden Knights.
Boom.
Yes.
They always get it done. They find a way to get it done. And this time the NHL giving them the full help there. Well, if you can't play, like what else can you do with it?
So I remember his last game was right before the Golden Knights played the Oilers. The Golden Knights were on a road trip, and they came to Edmonton. And I remember talking to friends with the Golden Knights. They're like, "Yeah, Robin just flew home last night."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? No, Leonard's not playing today?" They're like, "No, he's not playing. He just flew back to Vegas." And I was like, "So like." Where's your goalie?
Yeah.
Who's playing tonight? Eden Hill, and it worked out just fine for the Golden Knights. But he just took off and went back and was like, "I'm hurt. I'm not playing." And that was the last time we saw him.
Yeah, and will be the last time that we see it. Like
Quite likely, yes.
Yeah, no. This story is only halfway through it, and it only gets worse from here.
Yeah.
And so I
hope
I
not.
think if you're the National Hockey League, the reason why this happened is because you just want to be done with it.
Right.
Like you just want to write a check and make it somebody else's problem. And I think that that's probably what's happened. That they could have gone to arbitration. They could have like pleaded their case in front of a judge. Like they could have made this last longer, and they decided this is going to be so bad. We want Robin Lehner's problem to just be Robin Lehner's.
We will pay $5 million a year for the remainder of the contract for him to not be around us.
Just be his own problem and not the National Hockey League's. Yeah.
You were laughing at something?
Oh, the nasty chat is just shocked.
Yeah.
Facetiously shocked? What a surprise.
Corey B, I just got here. What's with the shades? The Brewery 88s dropped them off for us here, and only two of them. Jasmine and I took them, and they're great shades, so we decided to wear them on the Hangout today.
You guys do
So we
look
can't
pretty
see the
cool.
haters.
I will say they block out a lot of this. Like they are really good. Like when I've taken them off, like it's really bright.
Right. Whoa.
Like,
Maybe I
it's-
should take them off. I was just chilling here.
It's something else. So I'm wearing them for the rest of the show.
I might have to take a break.
They sit really nice.
Wake up.
You're gonna have to do a stand soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Go for a little walk.
stand.
Actually, I know a good time when we do the qualifying for the EST Flyaway. While I'm talking to
You didn't give me the word.
I forgot to.
Okay. I want to
get
say it
after.
again. Okay.
Oh, you want to say it again?
Yeah. I'll
we'll do it
take these
again.
off when
We'll do
we
it
talk
again.
about Devontae.
You'll need to take them off to see that, because it is noticeably crazy how much.
It's wild.
I'm gonna have to hide these until next year because I don't want to lose them
I
until
know.
next
I
summer.
just love the color
What did I
combo.
predict at the beginning of this?
Hide them, not. I just want them for next year. Will. I just want them for one summer.
What did I predict?
I'm not gonna need this for the winter.
I think it's badass.
I don't need these for the winter,
try?
Will.
Yeah.
It's like honestly, like look at how much that blocks out.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
And then if you look at your phone, there's like a reflective film there.
You're just jealous, Will. You just.
Yeah, with your nice little.
Gazzola looks like
mint
Max
glasses.
Headroom.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
They
means.
look good on you.
Thank you.
I'm the only person here who probably knows a Max Headroom reference, so that's how old that
I'm
is.
assuming that's a compliment.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll get to the EST Flyaway keyword in probably about the next 20 minutes or so here on the EST Hangout. And again, the news. Robin Lehner's cap off the the Golden Knights. So they will be able to start this season without being in LTIR. So Mark Stone doesn't have to go into LTIR. We don't have to deal with that this coming playoff.
Oh, they'll find something.
Yeah, but we don't have to deal with that. Oh, I guess, close to he'll get hurt in like January, February. They'll throw him on LTI for the rest of the season. They'll make a trade at the deadline to bring in this year's version of Thomas Hertl or something that we'll all be surprised by. And
you can see Tom using Tinder in the reflection of those glasses.
I'm not using Tinder. I'm in the text line.
Murder and now this.
Oh my! Attempted, first of all.
And we learned Zach was part of it too. He attempted to murder you.
Yeah. And Twitter Mary has been like, sorry to implicate you, Mary. I didn't mean it like that.
You know what, Mary? I did try your poppy seed lemon squares.
Those are great.
They were so good. I warmed them up, put a little bit of butter on them. It's delicious.
I had them for breakfast over the weekend. What, Will?
To be positive.
There was a whole Tupperware container of delicious baked goods
Fantastic.
from Twitter Mary's kitchen
I'm happy for
and the
you.
kindness of her heart.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dave. He's awesome too.
Great.
You're just jealous you didn't get to have
Obviously.
it because Zach to come eat them all.
I would agree.
I will go Bronco Nick. I know Max Headroom from MTV. Don't worry, phrase. Rob from the Grove. I get the Max Headroom reference. And then VR Montenegro. Max Headroom was a blast from the past. Well, you got a few people that are old, just like you.
Really, really old. Yeah.
Oh, somebody else texting into the Paris Jewelers inbox. I know the Max Headroom. So you have your people out there. Tom, Jasmine, and I did.
Send in the gift. We'll do the comparison.
No. Absolutely not.
Actually, I might as well just look it up. Max Headroom. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
I've seen.
Find him with the shades. There you go.
Yeah. I have the hair slicked back. Somebody said nice haircut.
See? Max Headroom.
If you look at Max Headroom on Google and go to the images, and there's him with sunglasses, and then go match it up to.
I went on
Tommy
the wrong
Gazzola.
day.
You go match it up to when Tommy was wearing the shades. It's there.
Chantel made fun of me.
I can't deny it.
No, I'll ghost it. I had to reschedule.
Yeah, good job,
I thought you were
bro.
going to book your appointment.
No, I get it, especially with the good reference. I did not get a haircut yesterday.
Yeah.
I did show up, and Chantel had 2 clients in there already, and I was like, I showed up on the wrong day, didn't I? She's like, yep. So we had to reschedule it.
So you weren't like, I'm
We're not
Tom Gazzola.
rescheduling. You got to go back on the day you scheduled.
Yeah, but there's other commitments, so I had to reschedule for early next week. Whoops.
Didn't
Sorry,
use your
Chantel.
celebrity card there, eh? Not your media
No,
pass?
Chantel doesn't give 2 craps. She
pick up.
kicked me out. She
Solid.
chased me out of there. Get out of here. Anyway. Good Max Headroom
Tommy and I
reference.
both are waiting for our stylist. I get it. My roots are terrible. Tommy's hair is just so awful.
I've gone without a haircut since the Jasper fires. That was my barbershop was in Jasper.
Really?
Yeah.
You drove to Jasper to get your haircut?
Yeah, man.
Like every 2 weeks or what?
Not
You
every
have a
2
formidable
weeks.
quad.
About every 5. I would probably.
That's
make a
still
trip.
pretty.
Yeah, wow.
pretty
There's plenty
solid,
to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
But unfortunately, those guys.
To go for my haircut.
If only there
Red
was.
Pass Barbershop is no more.
Yours still looks good.
Well,
It's
if
a
only
good
there was a
spot.
place
Yeah. I go
around
every
here
4.
that could cut your hair.
I'm pretty consistent.
Wade
It
was a
depends how
magician.
fast it grows,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
The sides.
Yeah,
The
the
sides.
sides.
I have to go to Revelstoke
Sides
now
are
to
still
find
pretty
Wade. Which, another good ski hill. So
Okay.
I think I could probably work it
I
out.
respect this.
Okay, wait, how long do your guys' haircuts take?
Mine's
25 minutes.
at least 40, if not 50 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I've got a lot of
30.
hair.
Okay.
I get in, I get out pretty quick.
So you guys just get the hair. You probably get like a massage, all that stuff,
No,
right?
no, it takes that long to cut my
Okay.
hair. Yeah.
Mine takes like 8 hours.
I believe it,
Must
yeah.
be nice.
And how often do you go?
I actually
like
try to
when-
go. Every,
Maddie, they go in, they put the
months.
bowl on top, they cut around it, they send them home.
He's got good hair.
How many times?
I try to go every 3 months because I need to
Okay,
keep my
that's
hair
pretty
healthy
quicker.
because I do. It's naturally not gray from stress. I promise.
Well, you live a stress-free life.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Sure I do. Not when the Oilers are playing.
Oh, actually, I've been tickled this preseason from the Oilers.
Don't.
Like,
No.
just that
This
they're
div-
just
No.
that they are healthy. Like
Yeah,
that
they
they are carefree. Like, man, we used to live and die by the preseason as like some sort of a predictor. We used to do the same thing with
Yep.
like the first 10 games. We used to live and die as some sort of a predictor. And after what the Oilers have done over the last 3 years, there is no predictors. You just know that they're a good hockey team. They like Unfortunately and fortunately, they remind me of the San Jose Sharks in the Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton era, where you just began the season knowing that they were going to come into your town, and if your team wasn't on their best behavior, they'd get their heads caved in. Yeah. Right? Like, we saw it many times, right? We saw our goaltenders stand on their heads and stop 50 to 60 shots and squeak out a victory, but at no time did you ever feel like your team was better than that team. Like,
that's fair.
And that's just what I'm reminded of. And I'm also reminded of the old Oilers watching some of those other Canadian squads trying to claw their way back into respectability. Like, you watch the Montreal Canadiens, and the fact that they have all these guys that are still trying to prove it to not just their head coach, but to themselves that they're ready to take that next step. And they're getting injured like crazy in the preseason. Same thing with Ottawa. And I just remember those days in this town where it was the same thing, where you just, oh, maybe this is the year they challenge for a playoff spot. And then by like game 5 of the preseason, you had 2 key injuries of guys that were going to be out for 6 weeks. And you're like, well, I guess not again, right? Like post Chris Pronger, until probably 3 years into the McDavid era. That was our life, like, as Oiler fans, where it was just hope and good young prospects that were maybe ready to take the next step, and then just disappoint. Like, as soon as the puck dropped, there would be a twisted ankle, there would be an elbow, there would be a broken finger, and your season would be derailed. Like, for the longest time, it was everything was going fine, and then Oscar Klefbom would get hurt, and it was just it was a linchpin type injury. Like, and you can't help but feel that way about like the Montreal Canadiens, right? Like, they made their move. They bring in a Patrick Laine, and he just gets caught with a knee in the wrong place.
That was so bad.
In a preseason game. Kirby Dach's like, all of a sudden, all that depth that you need when you don't have superstars, you need scoring from your fourth line up, right? Whereas in Edmonton, like, everyone knows that if you lose a McDavid or a Draisaitl, things are going to be hard. But what we've learned from McDavid and Draisaitl is they are incredibly durable and incredibly smart with the risks that they take on the ice, right? That they don't feel like they need to prove anything to anyone, and so they don't find themselves in positions like you saw Patrick Laine, right?
Yeah.
That they're not trying to make a statement. They're trying to score goals, get wins, but there is an unselfishness to their personal game, right? That they're not trying to prove anything to anyone, that I think adds to their ability to stay unhurt. Now, knock on wood, just like you did, crazy things can happen, but I don't think that injuries are as random as we make them out to be. I find that injuries are usually, in some part, a result of desperation, right? That you go at 110%, and as we know, that's mathematically impossible, and something's going to break.
Isn't that kind of like the NFL too?
Yes, absolutely.
Look at all the injuries there.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like the ones you predict are going to get injured.
Yep.
Right? Like Richardson. This guy gets injured right away. Colts are finally doing decent.
Yeah, well, and it's also
Taylor hurt already.
Yeah, exactly. And he was injured. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's part of like you get those guys that are like chronically hurt, and that's part of it, is that because they're chronically hurt, they feel like they have something to prove every time they come back from injury, and then they're just putting themselves in situations where they're gonna get hurt, right? Whereas, Tom Brady doesn't get hurt because Tom Brady played 10 years where he had nothing to prove to anyone, right? So he was just the golden boy.
Yep.
So he was not going to take a sack when he didn't need to take a sack, right? He was not going to try and stretch a 5-yard run into 6 yards, right? Like, he didn't need to, because he didn't need to prove anything to anyone, right? Like that not needing to prove anything anymore actually adds to your longevity. Right.
Valid. That sounds, I never thought of it like that. But also what you said about the Oilers in that era there.
Yeah.
It reminded me of something Joaquin said, or it kind of summed it up last week when we were talking about the rookie tournament. He goes, there was a time during that era where the Oilers' top line was in the rookie tournament in Penticton as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that is glaring and true and harsh.
Yeah. Sam Gagner, Nielsen, and Cogliano.
Yeah. Hall, Eberle, Payarvi.
Yeah.
That was the Hope T-shirt.
Right.
That was that time.
Hope song.
Yeah.
The bear band.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lachlan Cross.
Yeah.
They don't need to mention that.
I'm always reminded of a TELUS strike sign that I saw that is just the one that I've always used for sports all the time. Like when I tune into like Flames preseason talk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was a TELUS worker on strike, and they had a sign because TELUS's ad at that time was "The future is friendly," and it was TELUS, "The future is friendly. It's the present that sucks." And I've always just been like, yeah, that's exactly what you get sold when you're in a bad sports market. The future, man. The future. Don't worry about the present. Like, the future's friendly. Don't worry. Don't think about the present, because the present is pretty terrible right
Yikes.
now. Yeah.
What you got?
So Bleacher Report, they released their predictions for who's going to win the cup this year.
Yeah.
They just released it a few hours ago. So I'll give you guys the top 5, if you don't mind.
So this is for chances of winning. What was it again?
Best odds.
Okay, thank you.
That's right, the best odds. So they have at number 5, they have the Golden Knights. That's plus 1,800. Then they have a 5-way tie for plus 300. Yeah, 5-way tie. So it's the Hurricanes, the Avalanche, the Devils, the Rangers, and the Leafs. Okay, and then they have, so number 3, they have the Stars, plus 1,100. Florida, second place with plus 1,000. And then number 1, who do you think they chose?
It's the Oilers.
You betcha. It's plus 800 on that one.
Cool bet. Cool bet is lower for the Oilers. The Oilers are plus 680 on cool bet.
Yeah.
Panthers plus 900. Devils plus 1,000. Stars plus 1,100. Leafs plus 1,150. They have the Golden Knights a lot further down a little bit.
As they should. They were
The Golden Knights.
They were an 8th place squad last year.
Because their goaltending consistent was getting hurt.
Well, and I just think they're reaching the end of the road to their philosophy and team building, right? Like, you can't sell off the youth constantly and at the same time cut the throat of your veterans, right? Like
Vegas,
like they've basically been burning the candle at both ends, and at a certain point you just run out of runway. Yeah. And I kind of look at Vegas and wonder, they've got their Stanley Cup, like the veterans on their squad have their ring, like. They are probably less hungry than they need to be, considering their lack of depth, right? Like, with their lack of depth, you need your veterans hungrier than they currently look like they are.
I like that team, though. That defense is formidable.
Yep, absolutely.
But you're right. The depth up front, not as deep as it once was. I think Carolina's window's closed.
Really?
Yeah.
You do? You don't think that with health they'll be a better squad?
Nope.
Yeah.
I think they've gone too much in one direction, and I think we're going to see it's not going to be fruitful. And the combativeness that it seems to, like the whole Rod Brindamore thing, is he coming back? Well, he only wants to coach the Canes, and I think their window's closing here. It's over.
They are an ownership group that it makes me hard to believe you'd ever want to bleed for them.
That's a very nice way of summing it up.
Yeah.
You don't hear stories about how great the owner is. It's how cutthroat.
Yeah.
Budget conscious, data driven.
Yeah. Like Vegas is a similar situation where it feels like the players want to love him as an owner because he feels like he's willing to do anything to win.
And that means getting rid of you.
But that means getting rid of you, right? And so that's a level of stress that you don't experience in other markets.
That's true.
Coolbutt has set the Edmonton Oilers points for the regular season over-under at 108.5.
I actually love that.
That's at minus 120.
Yeah.
They have it. It's plus 100 to bet that the Oilers are going to finish under 108.5 points this season.
Yeah. That's a good over-under, actually.
That's high.
Yeah.
Do they have Pacific Division? Where's Pacific Division? To win the Pacific Division, the Oilers are plus 130.
Yeah.
So those are, Coolbet's got, if go to coolbet.com, click on NHL, click on futures, and you can get in on all of those. Lock Shop coming up at 11 o'clock in a little under an hour. It is Thursday, so Dusty and Huss will also look at CFL Week 18 action as the Elks take on the Riders on Saturday. We've got BC Calgary. Who's the other game? I forgot.
We got through the 2 bye weeks of, chunks of teams being off, right?
Well, we're back to a 3-game week.
Yeah.
Winnipeg Hamilton starts at And then it's BC Calgary on Friday night, and then Edmonton Saskatchewan is the lone game on Saturday.
The 3 bye weeks are unnecessary.
I think it's necessary because it's a 9 teams, and every team has to have 3 buys, is it?
Yeah, it's 3 buys
Right now. So until they get a 10th team,
Get that 10th team.
they've got to get that going.
Let's go. Let's get Quebec City going here.
That's the team.
Let's go.
That's the city that I think you're going to start seeing the CFL work more towards.
They're not getting a hockey team. I know the LA Kings. The LA Kings are being paid. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period said this.
A big chunk.
$7 million to play 2 games in Quebec City.
Yep.
Aren't the Oilers getting that money?
Yeah.
Because they'd probably ask for 10.
Yeah.
Look at that $7 million. Go get your cash. You don't need the gate then for your season ticket holders.
Right.
People don't like. There you go. You don't have to. You could lower the Oilers could lower from 8 preseason games down to 6, and just go get your $7 million from Quebec City. I want less preseason.
We all do. This is like, I'm getting annoyed.
It's almost over.
One more.
It's almost
One
over,
more.
Jasmine. Get to the weekend, and here it is. And then it is here.
I think a lot of people feel the same way.
The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish Long Drink, Legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrink.com/Canada. During our meeting, some of the boys were enjoying the long drink yesterday.
Maybe that's
It
why
was
the
good.
scoring was so off.
Well, Dusty was drinking it. But Dusty gets +5 points for drinking a long drink because they're delicious.
I didn't get +5. I had one. I didn't.
+5 points for you as well.
Thank you.
+5 points. See,
win.
I don't take away points. I only give points.
Sure.
I know.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, do not believe
But
that.
that's
I gave Jay +5 points. I gave Tommy now +5. I gave Dusty +5. I didn't give away minuses. Dusty just takes away from people all the
But that's
time.
what we've always said about you, Maddie. Your flaw is you're too generous.
That's exactly it. Generous enough. I'm making chili tonight.
Yeah.
For the second annual tailgate chili cook-off happening at Commonwealth, presented by the Elks Herd Turf District, both friends of EST. The second annual tailgate chili cook-off is brought to you by Edmonton Sports Stock, and you need a barbecue. I bought the ingredients yesterday. If you come see our boys at the tailgate on Saturday, we're not part of the chili cook-off, but we'll give little bits of chili out to everyone. The boys will. So
Texas style? What are you doing? Texas, okay.
Obviously,
I guess.
he can't put beans in it.
There's gonna be no beans.
because of his argument.
Well, but
he'd
like,
never put beans in his chili
Italian Chili
for the rest
Society,
of his life.
the International Chili Society says there's no beans, so it's not going to have beans in it.
All right.
Let it go, Will. Just let it go.
I just, yeah.
Don't follow up on this.
Anytime cuisine veers into a Star Trek convention type of talk, I lose all interest.
Chili cook-off, tailgate gets going 3 hours before the game, so 2 o'clock. I'm assuming give people time to get their chili set up and stuff. So probably about good 2:30, I would say. You could probably head down and go try a bunch of people's chilies. How many contestants are there?
30.
Again? 25. No, I have an email. On
Thank
that.
goodness it's an open air stadium.
with meat, 5 vegetarian options, and yeah, it's open air stadium. Touche.
No, I've got I just got to find. There it is. So there's 14 people competing in this one.
I thought they had 30.
They're upwards.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
upwards.
14 people are going to be competing
Oh,
in
okay.
this.
Concourses are going to be busy all game long.
Oh, yeah.
Is there going to be like?
I just got to go for a walk, guys.
Is there going to be like coffee beans? So you can, you're supposed to like smell the coffee bean, and then like when you get your
Oh,
new,
yeah.
smell
You'll smell
it?
something.
Reset the palate.
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh, I didn't know
Because
that.
then it can all like taste, it'll screw up the, screw up your flavors.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
Should have like a little coffee bean station.
Who are they taking on?
Yeah.
Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Oh, see,
Must win.
they should call it the Crop Duster Bowl.
Let's get to the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780. Jasmine, don't say it just yet, but it's on the left part of the screen. The 780, homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. Lame ass, low budget local shop online at 780.com. That's the word 780.com, or you can check them out in store. They got 5 locations: Londonderry, EIA, Southgate, St. Albert, and Kingsway. It is the EST Flyaway. We hope to send you to LA, where you can go check the Clippers taking on the Warriors, Cardinals taking on the Rams, as well as Edmonton taking on either LA or Anaheim. We got to figure out what day that NFL game is to figure out which Edmonton game we will send you to go watch. The trip goes from December 26th until December 30th for a chance to qualify. This is your next chance to qualify, so get your phones out. 780-218-9999. That is the number to text the keyword. And give me a second. I clicked the wrong thing there. Jasmine, what is the keyword?
The keyword today is drinks. Drinks.
Use it in a sentence, please.
I love to have drinks.
DRINKS. Drinks. 780-218-9999. You got about 5 minutes or so, and then YouTube Travel will call our qualifier for today, as this is the EST Flyaway to LA, proudly presented by the 780.
You got a kick out of that somehow.
Well, it's a terrible prompt. That's all it is.
Drinks or drinks?
No, your sentence.
It's like a spelling bee.
Exactly, but her sentence gives you no
bigger.
Well, no, it just gives you no idea of what the word is. Like, how about I am no longer thirsty because of all of these drinks. There.
Damn.
Like, it gives you a clue into what the
hers
word
worked
is.
just fine. You're sitting there biting your lip. Like,
I got the protective gear on from the haters. Can't see the
there
haters.
you go.
It's a word that
No glare in these eyes.
that you need clarity on, because if you mishear it, you could think it's something else, right? Like,
Oh my goodness.
It's Thursday. Stop having so much fun.
Sorry, Kenwood Bellwood said, Maddie, get some liquid smoke in that chili. I actually do have some.
Liquid smoke?
yeah, liquid smoke's a
That's
good
a
call.
good idea.
Cool.
But you
Might
have to be
that.
careful with it.
Yeah, it's a very small amount you use. No, that's a great idea. I actually have some of that, so thank you, Kentwood, for that. I'm going to add that to that tonight because I'm cooking it. I got to cook it ahead of Saturday because I've got the Green and Gold kickoff show on Saturday. Jay and I will be live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, 4 o'clock for the kickoff show. The cheese and jalapeno smoky on special, game day special. Jasmine and Tommy had it last week at our watch party. Absolutely delicious.
Very good.
The daily special on Saturdays, it's the prime rib sandwich for $12.99, I believe it is. That's absolutely delicious as well. The entire menu of Century Casino. Plus, you can bet on the ponies and watch, or at least watch Jay and I bet on the ponies. I've been really enjoying that. And maybe Sandy shows up.
Poor Sandy's missing. You should put a little
Which
flyer
ponies do you
up
bet
there.
on?
Took the money and ran.
In what do you,
Like, which track are you betting at? Like,
well, they have
Alameda
a lot. They have a lot. I love Del Mar in San Diego, but they're apparently off till October now, so I'm very disappointed. I don't like doing the harness or whatever. Jay's giving me the technical term for it because I love the thoroughbreds because that horse that you have that's a little back of the pack, they can get down the stretch, they can come get it. With the harnesses, I feel like it's a little harder to get that run down the stretch to pass. So if you have the lead, they're going to win. Yeah. So I like Del Mar. I like Santa Anita, I think it is.
Yeah, Santa Anita. Yeah.
That's a nice track.
Yeah.
I do look for the production value.
Yeah.
But then actually Tommy doesn't.
What?
Reed saw it last game while Reed and Jay were doing the show. I was walking by one of the tracks and I'm like, that guy looks familiar. It was Jim Bayers.
Jimmy Byers.
Sorry.
He
was the
in
voice
Oklahoma.
of Oklahoma City Oil Barons.
Yes.
Or Barons.
Barons.
Just Barons.
And the AAA ball team.
And I was just walking by, and he was on one of the broadcasts where I was like, it's Jim. And then I told her, do you remember Jim Byers? Byers.
Jimmy Byers,
And Reed's like, no, I don't. I was like, that was the guy, he used to do OKC games. It's like, that's who that was. And
amazing guy, old school broadcaster, just an angel of a human being. And he would talk about Edmonton glowingly because of his time in AAA baseball and PCL.
Edmonton was the jewel of the PCL.
It was Vancouver and Calgary were great trips for the PCL.
Yeah,
right?
but they loved it, like, especially when Telus Field was built. Like, first of all, it was a good AAA facility. It wouldn't compare now, but back in the day, it was. But it was also like right off of downtown, and so I cut my teeth covering the Trappers. That was the first thing that I did, and you would talk to the players, and like Edmonton was a glass of cool water for these guys, because they would go into a New Mexico, for example, where the city shuts down at 9:00.
Yeah.
Right. And so they would get through their game, and it was back to the motel.
Yeah.
And that was it. And like, if you got a slice of pizza or whatever, and they would come to Edmonton, and Edmonton was a real city. And so these guys would come in for their 3-game set and just party like you wouldn't believe, because they'd get out of Telus Field and there's the downtown.
Yep.
And you can go and get a drink until 2:00 in the morning. You can
Plus,
guys,
it's beautiful in the summer.
Yeah,
right? It's not like you're.
Oh no, they loved everything about
nice
it.
weather.
Like,
They're seeing
it
Edmonton
was,
at its best.
It was one of those places that, like, after the Trappers left, I would still check in with some of the guys, and that would be their first question, like, oh, how's Edmonton? Like, and you could just hear kind of the love for the place just in their voice.
Yeah.
Like they were on their trips now, and they were like, man, Edmonton was kind of that thing that you kind of held out on the schedule, where it was kind of like, yeah, we have to get through this 12-game set, but then, guys, we've got 4 up in Edmonton.
Rookie party.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That was exactly it. Yeah, so, yeah, it is interesting talking to the guys that do the play-by-play from back in the day. Like, even they, like you said,
loved it.
Just, yeah, like that. It was a lot of travel. You had to go through a border.
Yeah.
All of that sucked, but it was all worth it.
Yep.
Which is why I hated the day the Eskimos shut down the Trappers, because it
and
was
the PCL too wanted out of Canada.
well, Nolan Ryan, right? Nolan
Yeah,
That's true,
Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. I'll never.
Nolan Ryan wanted his team
Thank
in
God the
Texas.
Rangers never won when he was part of it.
out in
Screw
Round
Nolan.
Rock, and yeah, I talked to some of those guys, and they were kind of like, they laughed. They were like, yeah, they justified it because Edmonton was too cold in March, right? When the season began, it was too cold.
Well, losing Calgary, also
and
really
and you would have certain organizations going like, these guys, like, they're not, like, they're gonna have ligament injuries because they're not being able to stretch out because it's so cold, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, they went to Round Rock. It's not a domed stadium, and they were playing in 105-degree weather, and they were having guys that were like having to get IVs after games because they had lost that much fluid
Yikes.
out in the field, right? And so, yeah, you could feel the buyer's remorse from all the other PCL teams that were like, who wants to play in Round Rock? Like, this sucks compared to what we had in Edmonton. What killed Edmonton was the Calgary City Council had a choice like 20 years ago, and it was to build a new stadium for baseball or build their convention center.
Wow.
And all their money went into their convention center, and that was pretty much when the die was cast.
Yeah, that ballpark sucks in Calgary. I can't believe they even played AAA there.
They still play out of that. Somebody plays out of there.
Yeah.
People go down and it's a dump. So is McMahon.
is. Yeah.
Well, it is,
Honestly,
especially
I don't
because
know what Calgary
the
does
stadium out in
before.
Okotoks is a better stadium.
It's supposed to be absolutely an amazing spot
Yeah.
in Okotoks.
Yeah.
I don't know what Calgary does with McMahon or the Ball Diamond. Like, at the very least, they need to figure out something for McMahon. That's the Flames and stuff, and I don't know when that just keeps getting kicked down the road. And at some point, they're gonna have to make a decision and figure that out. And
like, baseball is alive and well around here. It really is.
Yep.
It will never die. This is a baseball hotbed when it comes to Canada. This is a place where the roots run deep. But it's still a shame that AAA ball's not being played here. This is a AAA town, AAA baseball town.
But credit to Randy Gregg, Dr. Randy Gregg, his group, and the Riverhawks, and Steve Hogle. They've done absolutely amazing work down there.
Yeah.
And it is a fun time, and it's been almost 2 months since
Yeah.
we last seen a Riverhawks game, and
Yep.
I'm sad about that. I'm very sad about that. We're gonna qualify.
But they
some
also
right away.
prove that, like, with the right ownership group, the Trappers would have been fine in this town,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Don't tell me that.
right?
Don't
Like,
tell me that, Will. Don't tell me that. Do not go to no. Let me just live with the PCL hated Edmonton and wants to be out.
Yeah.
There was no chance of it ever saying don't go there, Will.
no, you needed.
Don't go there, Will.
You
We're
needed-
qualifying someone right now for the EST Flyaway, presented by the 780 lame-ass, low-budget local shop online, 780.com. You could go for your little walk if you want, right?
Oh,
you need to
the
get
stand,
that. Trev, who do I have on the line?
Kyle.
Who?
Kyle.
Kyle.
Did you say cat?
Kyle, congratulations. You have qualified for the chance to win the EST Flyaway to Los Angeles. Have you been to LA before?
I have multiple times, yes.
Awesome. If you win this trip, who would you bring with you?
I have to bring my fiance.
You have to. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. Like, it would be the right thing to do, especially with it like right after Christmas, right before New Year's. And if you go, what would be the thing that you'd most be excited about watching? Would it be going to the NBA game, NFL, or NHL?
Probably the NFL game. I've seen the Oilers on the road a few times now, but I've never been to an NFL game. So I think that'd be pretty awesome to experience, especially in that stadium for sure.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. You are in the draw. Keep your phone on November 29th during the morning show, because if you are the winner, the boys will give you a call, let you know that you're off to LA, and you got to answer to be the winner. So best of luck and have a great rest of your day, Kyle.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
And if you want to qualify, next opportunity coming up on EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager. And a reminder to everyone, if to qualify as well as to win the trip on November 29th, you do have to answer your phone. So if you text in the keyword, keep your phone on, keep it close. Answer if it doesn't come up as Edmonton Sports Talk. Some random number is going to call you. Answer that around the time if you send in the keyword. And then November 29th, if you're in the draw, that's your chance. You don't want to miss out because you didn't answer the phone.
Let's go. I like how Trev said Kyle like that.
You had to double check who he was.
What are you doing?
We're doing a South Park reference.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love Cartman. I absolutely.
You would.
He's just some of the stuff. I still stand by. There's 3 episodes of South Park where it's like the only time in television I've ever been stunned by an ending.
Yeah, Scott Tenorman Must Die.
That's one.
The most shocking episode you'll ever watch.
Stanley's Cup caught me.
Yeah. Stanley's Cup.
And then there's another episode, I think it might be called Cartman's Cupid, or I missed what it was called.
Yeah.
And the episode was but the last scene stunned me in a way I was not expecting. And I like it.
Yeah.
I can't even go, I can't even go into on air.
Yeah.
I can say what happens off the air, but to me, it's if you want to see South Park at its best, go watch Scott Tenorman Must Die. If you like that episode, or if you could live with it, then you watch the series. If you're like, this is awful, which it is, don't watch anything else. Great episode.
Scott Tenorman Must Die.
Just licking the tears.
Yeah.
Your tears, they taste so good.
Yeah. Although that's how I feel as a sports fan. That's why I know I'm not a good sports fan. Like,
well, you lick the tears of other fans?
Yeah, I'm far more interested in the misery of other fans than I am in the success of my own team.
Why do you think I'm a Yankee licker?
You can.
You can.
Not to.
Yeah, but like
the fan base.
Yeah.
But for example, like after your team wins, are you more interested in listening to your team's recap of the game or the losing team?
I do that.
Yeah.
I listen to the Canucks radio.
You're a toxic
Don't
fan.
One of those people that comments on them.
Yeah,
No.
you're a toxic fan though. Like you're like me. You get off on their misery.
Yeah. Their analytical perspective as to what happened. You're like, dude, we watched the same game. Get out of here.
Just don't be one of those
Loser.
people that is commenting on those things. Because
No.
Tommy had to deal with a bunch of those Canucks fans.
That was
I know.
fun, man. And the best part was,
they're so salty.
after the second, they were so salty. After the second round, they would hop into the nasty chat post game, second round or third round, and then Stanley Cup final. I'm like, Canucks fans, what are you guys doing in here? You guys have been away for like the last 3.5 weeks. What's going on?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh no, we're all toxic fans.
We are.
I thought it was funny. I mean, we had to just mute people and kick them out, but it's doable. I thought it was great.
This is the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on YouTube, as well as wherever you get you podcasts. Will, Matt, Jasmine, Tom with you here. Do want to get to Road Wars, which is just brought to you by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas equipment, highway transportation, quality, innovation, integrity. No patch jobs, better than you solutions. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large loads. AccuSteel.ca. In the NFL tonight, the road team will be the Buccaneers heading off to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. There's your Thursday nighter. You could join Eric at Century Casino for that game. Smoked biscuit cheesesteak on special. Also, the Mets on the road taking on the Brewers 1-1 in that best of 3 series in the NL wild card. So, who do they move on to meet? What were you going to say?
Can we talk a little football? Because
I've been
They take on
waiting.
Philly.
I have a ridiculous take, and I can only have this take as a Bears fan. But can a punter be named MVP?
No.
No.
Because I just witnessed
the
a punter win a football game.
Yeah.
Like, that Bears win was only because their punter he's insane. Like, if you have not seen the highlights of this Bears rookie punter from Australia, like it's inhuman what he is doing.
Is it just his accuracy?
And like, so he is punting 60 yards.
Sorry, Taylor.
It is hitting the 5-yard line, and it's got backspin on it, and it's stopping dead. Like,
beautiful.
He's
like chipping a ball onto the green.
Like, they were so completely outplayed last week, and yet won going away, because it didn't matter what field position the other team got. The punter would just annihilate it every chance he got. Like, it is wild what's going on.
He had
with the
5
Bears.
punts in the game. He averaged 55 yards per punt. He had 1 touchback in those 5, but he had 3 inside the 20.
Like, just
they don't tell me. I wonder if I could find inside
these
the 10.
teams.
Stats.
Yeah.
You don't hear that very often.
No.
Punters don't get enough love.
Like,
for what they do.
It started in the NCAA. It started in Division I, where all of a sudden you were getting these sort of robo kickers coming in and sort of changing the dynamics. And you're just starting to see it filter into the NFL, where the NFL wasn't ready for this. They're not ready for this type of accuracy and precision from the punting. Like, and who saw that? Like, who thought that the next step in the NFL was going to be punting? But it is. Like, it's wild what's going on.
Field position battle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it kind of makes sense. Like, as analytics continues to consume the sports that we watch, you're going to find those key areas where it can make a difference, and field position is at the top of the list when it comes to football, right?
You think inside the 10 would be an easier step to find.
Yeah.
They have inside the 20, but that doesn't matter. I want inside the 10.
While Maddie's looking, meanwhile, there's the kicker, Braden Navarson.
Yeah.
No kicker this season has missed more field goal attempts than Navarson's 4. He missed wide right from 43 yards against the Eagles in the opener, wide right from 45 in week 2 against the Colts. Against the Vikings, he hit the upright from 37 yards. Then he was wide right for 49 yards. Officially, he is 9 of 13. But that doesn't include another... Sorry, go ahead.
Cut. He has not been released?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Has he been released?
Usually that's where the head coach gets to get his blood, right? Is by blaming the kicker.
Absolutely.
It's like the backup goalie.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you want to feel like you're doing something, you demote the backup goalie and bring up your AHL goalie.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's how you can prove to like everyone else, well, I did something.
Yeah,
right?
it's
like,
the equivalent of we're working on it.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Cut the kicker.
Like Troy Stetcher is going to be the answer to a lot of coaching problems this year. Or him or Josh Brown. Yeah, right? Like, there's just going to be some musical chairs at the back end.
Yeah.
So you're a big Bears fan? Is that what you're saying?
I want to be. Their owner is the worst owner in all of professional sports.
No.
John Fisher, Oakland.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some doozies up there, but
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Caleb Williams?
Completely underperforming.
Right?
And it's been completely glossed over by the fact that this rookie kicker is saving their hide.
Is he
right now.
underperforming, or is that who he is type thing? I've never been sold on him.
No, he's probably got the wrong coach, would probably be part of it, right? And I think you will see them change out a coach or two before they worry about him. So he's got too many tools, right? Like, that they'll look to unlock what he's capable of before they move on from him.
Or this is who he is. I'm just not sold on Caleb Williams, nor like I'm also. But USC does.
You
not
weren't before the season though either.
No, USC doesn't produce quarterbacks. Carson Palmer, one really. They don't produce quarterbacks.
Time will tell. The NFL seemed like it was moving in the direction of this style of quarterback, but I think all of sports is guilty of this. Is that they look at an athlete of that caliber and they think it's the athletic ability, not realizing that it's actually the brain that is able to use those tools to their highest ability, right? It's why speed sells in hockey. It's why you have a whole bunch of guys that get to stick around scoring 5 goals a year if they're fast, right? And so in the NFL, you find that like for the longest time it was arm strength, right? Like if you had a cannon for an arm, you were going to get a million tries, right? They would keep moving you around, and now it's you have to have the mobility piece to it, and they're once again not realizing that there also needs to be the brain at the helm of it. So, I mean, everyone wants to be the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Speaking of, so they're saying Devontae Adams might be a contender to go to the Chiefs. There's no way he's going to the Chiefs. You're not going to your same division.
Cowboys, Jets was the latest.
It's going to be Jets and New Orleans, I believe, too. It's going to be Jets. He's going to reunite with his boy, right?
Ugh, gross.
He wants a championship. It's crazy. Like, I respect that because he doesn't care about the facilities in Las Vegas, right? Like, what a great city it is. He's like, screw this. I want to win. And Vegas can't do that for him? Come on.
That organization's kind of been a tire fire.
Yeah. Totally. It's ridiculous.
I don't know if Vegas is a great environment for professional sports. Lord knows, like, their NCAA squads have had their issues over the years. I would think Vegas is a bit of a danger spot for certain athletes.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, hockey's working, obviously.
For now, right?
Basketball on the WNBA side, they're back in the final, I think it is. Yeah. Back-to-back champs. But, yeah, you're right. Like, the football thing, there's been a lot of problems. Yeah. And then...
because they're chasing the name with the coaches. Yeah. They were looking not bad. We talked about yesterday with Majot. They had, and I always forget his name, Richard something. I always forget the interim coach's name, and they made the playoffs, and then they went to Josh McDaniels. Yeah. And things just fell apart again.
Yeah.
Saved their season after John Gruden got fired, got to the playoffs, and then immediately went a different way.
I do believe that there is something about boring, though, that works for successful franchises. That, like, I mean...
Look how many head coaches the Pittsburgh Steelers have had.
Yeah, right?
3
like,
in the last, 40 years, isn't it?
Like,
longer.
Towns where you can go into them and just focus on the task at hand. I mean, you listen to the quotes from Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid about Edmonton. Like, when they talk about Edmonton, they look around and they go, guys, it's pretty good. Like, it's a nice town, nice people that tend to leave you alone for the most part, and we just
picking up booze,
right? After and we just focus on the task at hand. Like they have definitely dialed into the fact that, like, I don't need a beach, right? I need a good practice facility. Like, I don't need a good nightlife, even though I'm sure the nightlife is fine. I need a quiet neighborhood where I can get 8 hours of sleep every night, right? And so, I mean, Pittsburgh's a perfect example.
1969.
Kansas City's a perfect example.
3 coaches.
Like
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher.
Yeah. Even Green Bay. Like, why is Green Bay consistently competitive? I think
3 quarterbacks. That's about basically
right. But I think it's also a bit of a boring town where you just focus on the task at hand.
When you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, and you have that luck of quarterback or skill, whatever you want to say, that helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a Bears fan, how long have you been looking for a quarterback?
Well,
and you never find the right quarterback. They've had 3 that you could go to if depending on how Jordan Love fully pans. So it looks like he is the real deal.
Considering how much a quarterback at the NFL level needs to almost have savant-like tendencies to just focus on the game plan, you need as few distractions as possible. So I do think that Green Bay definitely helps in that.
Well, you can still go to Milwaukee.
It's true. But like in Green Bay, the most exciting place in Green Bay is the stadium.
Yeah, that's
right. So where do you spend all of your time?
At the facility and stadium.
At the facility, right? Yeah. No one's looking to get out of practice early to go and do something fun, right? Like there's no golf course calling in Green Bay.
You sure?
There's no
I'm sure
there's golf course, but it's not like we're gonna go and have a couple of brews and go and have a good time with the boys out at the golf course, right? Like, if you want to play golf, I'm sure you can play golf.
There's Duck Creek Golf Center. Yeah. There's the Oneida Golf and Country Club.
The Oneida.
There's the Green Bay Indoor Golf.
Yeah.
There's the Braid Creek Disc Golf Course and the Green Bay Country Club.
The disc,
TripAdvisor.ca has the golf courses in Green Bay. Just Google
and of the top 5, 2 of them were disc golf.
One was indoor.
And one was indoor, yeah.
All right.
I'm kind of making my point.
Not to mention Lambeau Field is out of the way.
Yeah,
right?
but like I think boring is kind of the secret sauce.
We'll go to Yelp. What does Yelp have? The Hilly Haven Golf Course, the Royal Scott Golf Country and Supper Club, Golf Course and Supper Club, Thornberry Creek, we already had that one, Cliff Public Golf Course, and the Woods Golf Club.
Like even New England Patriots, like where they play out, like there's nothing around there. Man. Foxborough is a parking lot. Basically, it's just the most fun there is the night before the game. Because you have everyone meeting up to begin their tailgate, right? Like that's where the party is. It's just like you kind of need boring for it to work, which is why like Vegas, I'm kind of like, it's kind of a little too fun. Like, I mean, I guess New Orleans would be the counter to that. Like New Orleans would be the one part where you're kind of like, oh, that's a fun town, and they seem to keep having success.
Yeah.
But
Vegas is different than New Orleans, though.
Yeah.
New Orleans party life is the consistency that like it's the same thing in this little.
Yeah.
And whereas Vegas, I could see there's new DJs, new concerts.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Yeah, you're right.
But also the locals of Vegas don't necessarily go on the strip either.
And the hockey team, a lot of them live in the same community in Summerlin, is what it's called, and they don't go out of their way to do that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not as much inclined, although I'm sure some of them.
I'm sure some of them have.
Point.
Yeah. I think Vegas has also figured out that like the town is their greatest asset for their home record.
Yeah.
Right? Like like you are papering that away team hotel with as many offers as possible, right? Like you are making sure that the last thing that the team coming in is thinking about is the hockey game.
Yeah.
They're thinking about what they're doing after the hockey game. Like I've always said, if I was a head coach, I would have that charter fueled up and ready to go after the hockey game.
Yeah.
And I would tell the guys, like, it's real simple. Like, we win, we stay, we lose, we get on the plane. Like, you would see a significant change but there's so many like father-son trips that work the Vegas angle into it. All of that where they're kind of committed to staying a couple of days around the Vegas area. That
does happen.
That you can't really threaten teams the way that you probably should.
The one thing though I think we've heard, at least with hockey, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, is that a lot because of the younger generation. They don't go out as much. They stay in their rooms video gaming.
Yeah.
They bring their video game console on the road, and they stay in their rooms and they game. They don't care about going out on the town anymore as much and seeing things. It's get to the room and start gaming.
There's this another stat I just read yesterday that the new generation, what do they call the Gen
Z?
They don't like to drink as much.
Yeah.
They're not big drinking.
Drinking's dropped.
Generation. Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's even like you could do that to a degree, but now it's you stay in the hotel room. It's the video game.
Nerds.
Do you guys game?
Yes, I do.
You do not?
No.
I used to game back in the day when it was like Nintendo, but not this new age.
No, the only thing
hard.
I do Tecmo Super Bowl for the Super Nintendo
right.
where I have my trophy and I'm the champ.
I did everything I could to keep it out of my house. I had it in my house. I burnt up my Xbox, and at that point, I was kind of like, "Wow, $350 buys a lot of PS5?
Do you know how much? The Pro version, which is like $1,000 or $1,100, and it doesn't even have a spot to actually. You can't use physical discs or something.
What?
Yeah. It's digital.
Yeah.
It's all digital. Like
So everything's gonna be downloaded to
you have to download
it actually strikes me as
make it $1,000.
$1,100 or something for Canadian. I think it's more than 1,000.
The last PS was how much? 900.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it 900?
850, 900. I think.
Correct.
It's ridiculous.
Actually, as far as inflation goes, I think it's actually still cheaper. Like,
But to download
I
think the games are still
like the first
much
Nintendo was over
prices.
was over $200 back in like '89. So like,
well, let's look at the inflation calculator.
yeah.
Inflation calculator, Canada, Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
We're here. So you said what year?
Like, see what like $1,100 would be in '89.
Well, no, 1989.
Yeah.
1989, $200 would be $428.
Really?
So if you wanted, can I do it reverse? No, I can't do it reverse. But yeah, so since 89 to 24, it's
like a new iPhone's $1,100, is it not? Like
More. Electronics are.
This phone's 2,000.
Kind of just strikes me as like, as far as everything that it does, it's probably not that expensive.
When is this PlayStation coming out? Just before Christmas, right? So we're gonna see all these ridiculous videos now of people like.
I don't think it's gonna be as high. PlayStation 5 Pro. When does it come out, or is it already out? No, pre-order. You got to pre-order. And it will come out
right before
October 10th.
There you go.
No, November 7th. Oh, I don't know. I've seen both dates.
Just before Christmas.
Of course.
Buying season. But I've also heard that like Sony, they're already starting to move on from PS5. It didn't go as well as they thought. And
Really?
They're starting to work on 6 already. And that'll probably come sooner than expected.
Then don't get a PS5 is what you're saying, because I still don't have one.
Are you an Xbox guy?
No. PlayStation.
Yeah, my family are PlayStation. My brother's a huge PlayStation.
I'm PlayStation.
I'm
for when I did
PlayStation.
game.
It's just I haven't bought a PS5.
I don't have it.
PlayStation is better than Xbox, though.
It's planned.
Halo.
According to digitaltrends.com, PS6, things are pointing to 2027 for PS6.
Oh, my PlayStation 4 is ready to blow up. I need a PS5.
So
Which one do you have?
PS4.
Oh, okay.
And it literally, like, it makes a really loud noise. It sounds like it's going to blow up. I'm like, it's time to get
I still need to get a PS4.
You might want to take a vacuum cleaner to the.
I need
or
a
there's
PS4.
that.
Although Zach did give me Last of Us I have a PS3 and I just don't play it. Zach did give me Last of Us for that one. But I did want a PS4, but I'm just too cheap to go pay for one.
One thing is the PSs and like the homes, they do look pretty sleek and cool. Like it's like part of the decor.
They're kind of fancy.
They make them look nice.
They look nice. They're not bulky
nice.
like an Xbox.
Just give me a good Tecmo Super Bowl and the Super Nintendo.
It's coming. It's coming.
We think. You missed out at the old place when we
I believe it, man.
It was wild.
Dusty, Hernan, and you had our league going, and you would have hated it. You would have hated us for that.
I'm sure I would have labeled you appropriately. Yeah.
There were walls of stats and scores and
Dusty
standings.
Yeah.
Good.
No, he was supposed to bring them to me because I had all their history, and he grabbed them. I was like, well, after God, I'm like, go grab those for me, and he had them, but then he never gave them to me. He's like, I think I threw them out. Well, thanks.
Well, that's -5 points.
See, and I'm not giving
Well played.
give minus points, but
Very
that's
well
the respect
played.
I have from Dusty.
Hey, now.
Throw out all our stats. He was just jealous because he won the first 2, but then I won the last 2 titles in the last 2 seasons. And so he's trying to just throw away the history because we caught up to him and I passed him.
You didn't Bart Simpson it? Just pull the plug. I retire champion.
No, I want to defend it. They want to take the title away from me. I want to defend it. I have the trophy in my office. I want the new machine to defend my title. And they're like, oh, you can't still be champ. Of course I am. You guys, no one took it away from me. I'm not going to be the one that be like, I retire, I'm never playing again. I want to go in a third.
Right.
I want a 3-peat.
Right on, man.
I had the greatest season in Tecmo Super Bowl history.
Sometimes I feel like he thinks we're arguing with him. We're not arguing.
No, I'm
with him.
defending myself.
Obviously.
Always, aren't you?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to. Everyone else rips on me.
You get triggered from weird things, dude.
I feel like you're doing it on purpose just to be
Tecmo
difficult.
champ. Tecmo champ. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Just to be difficult.
Yeah.
Just to piss us off. And I'm over here so nice. I had a little stat for Maddie. I'm not giving it to you now because you're being difficult to me.
Well, that's -5 points.
The Canadian Jonathan David scored an upset Champions League win over Real Madrid.
He had a hat trick just the other week, didn't he?
Yeah, but yesterday's Champions League and Lille beat Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He scored in it too.
Yeah.
Which was a big upset.
He has taken the next step. He is unreal.
The only thing is,
That was good.
he
That's good.
for the last 2 summers he's on a move. He's on a move somewhere because he's got to leave Lille and he's still at Lille.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know if he's ever going to take that next step. So it's great that he's doing it at Lille. And scoring in Champions League, scoring against Real Madrid, that is a big deal.
Next step for stardom, you mean?
Well, for also development. I'm sorry, playing at Lille, consistently playing there's a point where you got to go to one of the big 4s.
He's still he's added to his game, man.
Yeah, but go to one of the big 4s and start doing it at one of the big 4 leagues. And that's because the age is starting, you start.
What is he,
adding
26 now?
24.
24. Yeah,
He'll be 25
he's
again.
got runway.
But it's okay, now we have to wait another year to see him go to Italy or England or Spain. I hope he doesn't go to Germany. And it's like, and then can he do it there? Can he take that next step there?
Now, do you not want to go to Germany just because it's too team-oriented?
Unless he's going to Bayern or, well, I guess Leverkusen to a degree, but I don't think they're a long-term plan. Dortmund, like you're
part of a machine.
Yeah, you're just going up against Bayern.
Yeah.
Like, go to Italy where it's competitive. Go to England to one of the big clubs. There's a lot. Or if he moves to Spain, he's going to go to one of the top clubs there.
Yeah.
I want to see him at a top club and play and see that next development for him. And it's time that he goes and makes it. Now that's like him going up against Real Madrid and scoring. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's huge.
I get the finish that he has added to his resume. Like he's always been a finisher, but like if you go back to the hat trick that all 3 goals were different goals. Like, and they were all finishes. Like this is not a guy who is breaking down a defense. He is finding the quiet areas of the pitch and just positioning himself. Like doing that. Doing the things that only finishers do that just kind of make you not even notice them. Like he disappears into crowds really well now. He uses the header really well. Like he is playing off of his, like I think the reason why he's not leaving Lille is he seems to have some real chemistry from his teammates. Like his teammates do not hesitate to put the ball into play in his area.
But the last 2 summers, it was from his camp, like looking for the move, and it just hasn't transpired.
Yeah.
And don't go to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Stay away. As a Canadian, stay away. Like, do not go to Manchester United.
It'll
ruin him.
As far as player development goes,
it won't be good.
I am not a big fan of any teams in England. I feel like you stunt as soon as you step foot on that pitch. Just because the spotlight is so bright.
I'll change that a little bit. I think David maybe is a little too big for this. Eric could correct me on this, or Red Beater if he's still listening. Going to a place like a West Ham or an Aston Villa or a Brighton, like more of the middle table, where you're in the Premier League and you go up against, like that is the best league top to bottom.
Absolutely it is.
But you also don't have the full pressure of United or Arsenal or Liverpool or something.
Okay.
I think that's a good spot. I just don't know, is David too big for that? But him going, like maybe it is him going to West Ham, and you're playing in London still.
Yeah.
You're in the Premier League still. You're going up against some top clubs still, but you also don't have you're playing for City and you're going to play once every 5 games or whatever, or you go to United and they're going to be trash for your development. You're at a normal club within England.
Yeah. The concern I would have as a Canadian soccer fan, though, is once you get more money and into those bigger clubs, the more input they have on when and where they will let you play. Right now, David basically gets to call the shot. Like, if he wants to play, Lil says, go for it.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas all of a sudden you end up in one of the bigger leagues, bigger tiers, they've got a lot more say on whether or not they think that your twisted ankle is good enough for you to be competing on the international stage.
Yeah, you don't need to play Trinidad and Tobago next week.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
I like this from Hyman, but we also have to add to this. Matt Hyman. Jasmine needs her own weekly Edmonton style talk segment, which we do. But also, you wanted to do a dating thing, and we will have to add, maybe like once a month.
Advice.
We spend a little bit of time at dating advice. You throw in your dating
advice or marriage
relationship
advice.
Throw it in, and we'll get Jasmine to help you through some of that. Little late to do that.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Oh, no. I was just waiting for that. I have nothing to say. I will not be involved. I will listen contently.
Come on, heartbreaker.
No. I'm a nice boy.
Do you have any fashion to discuss for today?
No, nothing new other than I was going to rock I have a Messi jersey, a Miami one, because I saw you wearing yours.
You got the Inter Miami.
Yeah, I want to wear it. It's pink. It's really cute.
Those are nice jerseys.
He also, I think, scored 2 goals right away yesterday, did he not?
Yes,
he did for
Miami. I think they clinched something yesterday in MLS. I don't follow MLS as closely.
How about the kid that hopped on the field and Messi did the selfie with him and then like pushed him and said, "Go, run away from the security"? I thought that was great.
Did that happen yesterday?
Last week I think it was, but he's like, "Go, go, go, go!" after the picture.
Oh, that's really nice.
The kid ran on. He's like, "Come on!" and he takes a picture and goes, "Go!" and he give him a head start. Security still got the kid.
2 goals yesterday.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes. Oh, man. And with that, Miami...
He has no respect for the MLS.
Top spot in the MLS. I think that's what happened.
Man.
Right.
So, yeah, he scored 2 goals in his He's starting to. Ronaldo hit 900 goals. What was that, a month ago? The start of September. Messi's, I think, at 840 or something like that. So
I can't think of a more overpriced league than the MLS. Like, when you see what their franchise fees are, like, there is no correlation between franchise fee and quality of the league.
San Diego got an expansion team for about 500.
Yeah, like, it's wild.
There's an article back when Deadspin was good.
Yeah.
Where they talked about how is the MLS a Ponzi scheme? And
it is, dude. It definitely feels like it.
And they're like, with how the expansion went, like, it was a great. I'll have to send it to you if I can find it still.
Like, it's wild to me, like, when they're like, because there's always that conversation about, like, well, could Edmonton get an MLS squad? And I'm just kind of like, why would you, like?
I don't know who'd have the money for it.
Like, you are just wasting, like. Their franchise fees are, like, if it's $500 million, that is like $420 million too much for the level of the league.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got to ask. I got to go to this question for the last couple of minutes. Matt Hyman saying, how about Jasmine watching the Hangout at the dentist? How did you get it on at the dentist?
Yeah. Okay, so I have two parts to this. Thank you for asking, Matt Hyman. It was in my notes. Okay. Do your dentists have screens, TVs? Usually they have
like in the ceiling.
Yeah.
So I've only had it's cable.
Did you get cable? Well, your dentist?
I did, or like
no. Now they just buy like Roku's or whatever, so you can watch Netflix. So I requested rather than Netflix,
YouTube.
I put on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And they said absolutely. So the dentist was, listening along to the chat yesterday. In fact, I had no idea that she was a huge sports fan.
Nice.
Yeah, and she was like, I've been trying to find a good local station to listen to that's interesting. So then she started telling me, she bumped into Trey Young, she bumped into the guy that recreated NBA 2K. So I'm like, this girl knows what's up, another fellow female, right?
Yeah.
So it opened up a little bit of talk. So anywho, I left it on for her, and she's like, she's gonna make sure her patients, see EST throughout their appointments now. And then so my two-parter was, do you guys like going to the dentist?
I don't have issues with it.
Not even a little bit.
I called my dentist by his first name. I said, "What's up, Brian?" He's awesome.
I go next week, and they moved.
Well, my dentist
moved from Kingsway Mall into that Manchester Square.
Oh.
I haven't been there to this new one, so I'm excited to see.
My dentist is the living legend, Dr. Bob.
So, Reds. Yeah. He's a great guy. Hello, Reds.
He is the only thing that I look forward to about the dentist.
He is fantastic.
Is just talking with him. Yeah. And he's only worked on me once because I hate the dentist.
Oh, you hate the dentist?
But my wife, because of dental trauma as a child, she needs to take at it. And so I will go in with my wife and just Bob and I just chat.
That's nice.
I love the feeling after you go.
I love the dentist.
All Bob wants,
you're like the cleanest.
Yes.
And you're like, this is great.
All Bob wants to hear is brother fight stories like that. Like, you want to make that man truly happy, just tell him about either your kids getting into a fist fight or a fight you had with your brothers. He eats it up. Like,
Reds is such a good guy, and I do enjoy going to my dentist,
right?
and then getting your teeth clean is what a feeling.
It is what a feeling. It's like, I feel like it always had a bad stereotype to go in the dentist.
No.
Right? Like, it's supposed to be awful, but no.
It's invasive. I don't like it.
I understand.
Yeah.
I don't like when they do, while they're working on you, they do ask you questions.
Yeah.
To have a conversation. It's a little hard for me to talk. Two things in my mouth right now.
Yeah.
Just let me sit here and just I'm cool with silence.
Let me watch the Hangout.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the only thing I'll go with. Is this is just weird.
She let me turn it up so loud too while the work was going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
I just want you to know I'm being a complete gentleman about this entire conversation right now.
Don't worry.
So.
We're wrapping up here. Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk, it is a lock shop. Dusty and Huss at noon. Two guys and a goalie. We got EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show on EST Afternoons and the Reed Wilkins Show. Your next chance to qualify for the EST Flyaway to LA. Will, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Jasmine, always great. The shades we were great today.
Yeah,
I loved it.
We looked cool today, didn't we?
I'm glad we did the whole show with
well
you.
done.
Too.
On behalf of Tommy, Jasmine, Will, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Like I said, lock shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Iwanyk and Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today